When I saw that woman being dragged out of my house, my blood ran cold. The woman I trusted to protect my daughter was the person I should have been protecting her from, because her impeccable references were a complete fraud. She was a professional kidnapper using bedtime to coordinate an invasion of my home. She thought the only threat was me, the millionaire father. But the real threat was an 8-year-old girl with an iPad hidden under her pillow, and the detail she never planned for. The hobby I encouraged my daughter to learn was the only thing that could expose her secret plan. But let me tell you how this woman, this monster, got into our lives. I'm what the market calls successful. But what that really means is I live with a level of paranoia most people don't understand. My house in Beverly Hills looks more like a fortress. Cameras in every corner, bulletproof glass, and a private security team that monitors everything 24/7. It might sound like overkill, I know, but when you have an 8-year-old daughter, Olivia, and the world knows what you have in the bank, paranoia isn't a disease. It's a survival tool. My wife, Elena, passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. It was fast and it was brutal. Since then, it's just been me and Olivia, and I became the only barrier between her and a world that often seems to want a piece of us. For 3 years, I avoided business trips like the plague. I cancelled meetings, I lost opportunities, but one was unavoidable: a merger in Tokyo. I had to be gone for 48 hours. The idea made me physically sick. Who was going to protect Olivia? I needed someone, not a weekend babysitter. I needed a human shield. I spent 6 solid weeks interviewing. I used the most expensive, exclusive agency in Los Angeles. I rejected 12 candidates. One was too young, another was too distracted by her phone, another seemed too nice, too naive. And then Agatha showed up. She didn't walk into the interview room. She entered my office. She didn't look like a nanny. She looked like an intelligence agent. Calm, articulate, 35 years old, an impeccable suit. She didn't smile much. She was professional. The references were terrifyingly good. She had worked for a sheikh in Dubai for 2 years, for a tech CEO in Palo Alto for 3. She had just finished a contract with a branch of the British royal family. I personally called 3 references. They didn't just praise her. They used phrases like, "I trust her with my life," and "she's more observant than my own security team." If you've ever felt that chill that something isn't right, even when everything looks perfect, like this video and subscribe to the channel because you'll understand what I felt. My security team ran a full background check. Nothing. Clean. Her record was cleaner than mine. The agency director called me and said, "Mr. Hayes, she's the best we have. She is 1 in a million." During the final interview, I noticed a line on her resume: fluent in 4 languages, including ASL, American Sign Language. I found it curious and asked her why. It was the first sign of emotion I'd seen from her. She gave a sad smile. "My younger brother was deaf, Mr. Hayes. He passed away 5 years ago. I keep practicing every day to keep his memory alive." That got me. That broke through my armor. Right there, I didn't see a candidate. I saw a person with empathy. I saw someone who understood grief, who understood loss. I hired her on the spot. She started 2 days later to adapt to Olivia's routine before my trip, and she was perfect. Firm when Olivia didn't want to eat her vegetables, but gentle when it was story time. Olivia, who is usually shy and wary of strangers, seemed to genuinely like her. The night of my trip, I was in my home office on the ground floor, finishing one last conference call before heading to the airport. Agatha put Olivia to bed at 7 p.m. I finally relaxed. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. I felt that she was safe. I checked my watch. 7:30 p.m., time to go. I went upstairs, gave Olivia a kiss on the forehead. She already looked sleepy, her eyes heavy. I hugged Agatha at the bedroom door and thanked her. She nodded, professional as always. "She's safe with me, Mr. Hayes. Enjoy your trip." I got in the car and drove out the automatic gates. I didn't know it, but I had just made the biggest mistake of my life. I had just left my daughter alone with a monster. What I'm about to tell you now is what Olivia told me afterward. It was 7:45 p.m. Olivia wasn't asleep. She was reading in bed. She's always been a voracious reader. She went to her bedroom window, which is on the second floor and faces the street. Our street is incredibly quiet. It's a monitored dead-end street. It's always deserted. But tonight there was a white van parked across the street. A cleaning services van. No logo, no phone number. Just parked under a broken streetlight. She thought it was strange. The neighbors across the street were in Switzerland. There was no construction on the street. She felt a chill, that instinct kids have that we adults learn to ignore. She walked downstairs barefoot to the living room, where Agatha was sitting on the sofa, reading a book under a lamp. "Agatha," she said quietly, "there's a van outside." The nanny's reaction was her first mistake. A tiny mistake, but Olivia caught it. Agatha didn't look at the window. She didn't ask, "What van?" She froze. For 1 second, her calm face turned hard as stone. Her eyes narrowed. Then she relaxed her face, forced a smile, and looked at Olivia. "It must be for the new house on the other street, sweetie. Everything is fine. Shouldn't you be in bed?" But Olivia noticed. Agatha didn't even turn her head to check the window. She already knew the van was there. "Okay," Olivia said. "Good night." She went back to her room. But she didn't get back in bed. She turned off the main light, but left the small lamp on her nightstand on. She closed her door, but left a tiny crack. And she stood there, watching Agatha through the crack. 20 minutes passed, 20 minutes of absolute silence. Then Agatha stood up from the sofa. She made no sound. She looked down the hallway toward Olivia's room. She listened. She went to the guest room, opened the door, looked inside. She was checking the house. Convinced that Olivia was asleep and the house was empty, she returned to the living room. And that's when Olivia saw her do it. Agatha went to the living room window, the window that looked directly at the cleaning van. She didn't turn on the light. She pulled the heavy curtain back just a few inches, and Olivia, from the crack in her doorway, saw Agatha's silhouette raise a hand against the dark glass and make a motion, a sign. Now, here is the part Agatha didn't know, the part she could never have predicted in a million years, the part that saved my daughter's life. My father, Olivia's grandfather, began to lose his hearing badly about a year ago. He's a proud man, and he was getting depressed, isolating himself at Sunday dinners because he couldn't follow the conversations. To make him feel included, so he could talk to his granddaughter Olivia, and I started taking intensive ASL classes. It was our secret code with Grandpa, and Olivia, being 8, soaked it all up like a sponge. She was better than I was. She was fluent. From the crack in the door, my 8-year-old daughter watched the perfect nanny, the woman who lost her deaf brother, signal to the van outside. And Olivia understood every word. Agatha signed, "Father," left. She waited. A tiny red light blinked once from inside the van. Agatha signed again, "Daughter, room, now." Pause. The van blinked twice. A no. Agatha signed, "No, wait, lights, off, signal." Olivia's stomach twisted. She told me she felt cold, a cold that shot up her legs. This wasn't a security code. This wasn't normal. Agatha wasn't practicing to honor her dead brother. She was coordinating. She was coordinating with the men in the van. In that moment, Agatha turned from the window. She walked to Olivia's room and slowly opened the door. Olivia scrambled into bed in the dark and pulled the covers up, squeezing her eyes shut, pretending to be fast asleep. Agatha stood in the doorway. Olivia said she could smell her perfume. She stood there for 10 seconds, which felt like 10 hours, just watching, listening. Then she turned, left, and closed the door. But Olivia was not an ordinary child. She didn't go hide under the covers. The second she heard the soft click of the door closing, She didn't cry, she didn't scream. She grabbed the iPad I left for her to read, the iPad she cleverly hid under her pillow to play games after bedtime. She didn't call the police. She knew they would take too long. She knew they wouldn't believe her. She opened FaceTime, and she called me. I was in my car. I had just realized I'd forgotten my passport and was driving back home. I was about 15 minutes away, stuck in traffic, cursing my luck. Olivia's iPad FaceTime call came through. Strange, she should be asleep. I answered. Her face was pale. She was in the dark of her room, lit only by the screen, and she was whispering, "Dad." "Olivia, what's wrong? You should be asleep." "Dad, the nanny. It's her. She's with the men in the van." My brain didn't process it. "What, sweetie? What van? Did you have a nightmare?" And then she said the sentence that will haunt me for the rest of my life. "No, Dad, I saw her. She's using sign language. She said, 'Wait for the lights to go out.' She's talking to them. They're going to come in. They're going to take me." My blood didn't run cold. It boiled. I didn't think. I slammed on the brakes, pulled a U-turn with tires screeching in the middle of the avenue, nearly hitting a taxi. The driver honked. I didn't hear him. "Olivia, listen to me carefully. Lock your bedroom door, now." "I already did, Dad." I love this kid. If you also believe that a child's intuition is the most powerful thing in the world, like this video and subscribe to the channel because you need to see what happens next. I had 2 panic buttons on my phone connected to the house security. The first one called my private security team. The second called the LAPD. I pressed both. At the same time, I didn't say, "I think." I didn't ask, "Can you check?" I screamed, "Home invasion in progress. Code red. The nanny is the inside man. My daughter is locked in the upstairs bedroom. Imminent threat. Send everyone." The voice on the other end said, "On our way." I went back to FaceTime. "Olivia, sweetie, stay on the line with me. Hide in the closet now, and don't make a sound." "Dad, I'm scared." "I know. I'm almost there." I ended the video call but kept the audio-only call active. I put the phone on the car's speakerphone. I could hear her breathing, sharp and shallow, in the dark of the closet. And I could hear something else. A soft beep. Agatha heard it. It was the sound of the house alarm being remotely activated by my security team. The silent system was now active. She knew. I heard it through the iPad. Agatha's sweet voice was gone. I heard heavy, fast footsteps in the hall. She tried the doorknob to Olivia's room, locked, and then the voice. It wasn't the calm voice of the Beverly Hills nanny. It was the voice of a cornered animal. "Olivia, open this door." Silence. I could only hear my daughter's breathing in the closet. "Olivia, open the damn door." I heard a thud. She was hitting it. I was 5 minutes away, driving 100 miles an hour, blowing through red lights. "I know you're in there, you stupid brat. Open up." I heard a crack. She was using her shoulder. She was trying to break the door down. I could hear Olivia start to whimper. "Dad, Dad," she whispered. "They're coming, sweetie. The police are coming. Just hold on." The next crash was the sound of wood splitting. Olivia's door was solid oak, but Agatha was strong, and she was desperate. She knew her window of time was gone. She wasn't trying to kidnap anymore. She was trying to silence my daughter. I screamed into the phone, to nobody, to the security guard, to God. "She's breaking down the door. She's going to get her." The calm voice of the security chief replied in my ear, "Mr. Hayes, we are here. We're on your street, but we're not going to the front door. We're going for the van." The cleaning van was still there, parked, waiting for the final lights out signal that never came. They didn't see the 2 LAPD squad cars, and my security car blocked both ends of the dead-end street. The floodlights hit them. 3 men, armed, jumped out of the van and were taken down before they took 2 steps. It was fast, efficient, silent. Inside the house, Agatha heard the sirens. The sound of the pounding on the bedroom door stopped. I heard it through the iPad. Her footsteps now panicked, running down the hall. She tried the back door. But I had full control of the house from my phone. While driving, I had already locked every exit. She was trapped. She ran to the kitchen, probably looking for a knife, an exit, anything. And that's when the police, who my security team had already let in silently through the front door, found her. I skidded to a stop, jumped out of the car while it was still rolling. I ran inside. The scene I saw, it will stay with me forever. Agatha, the perfect nanny, the woman with the impeccable references, was on my living room floor, her face pressed into my Persian rug, being handcuffed. I didn't stop. I ran upstairs. The door to Olivia's room was splintered. The frame was broken. I pushed it open. She was in the closet, curled up, hugging her knees, crying. I scooped her up. She hugged me with a strength I didn't know she had. "Dad! Dad! Dad!" I carried her downstairs. As the police lifted Agatha to her feet, she looked at us. Her face, the references, the crisp accent, the sad story about her brother, the empathy, it was all gone. What looked at me and my daughter was pure hatred, a hatred I have never seen in my life, a burning hatred. An officer approached, his face pale. "Mr. Hayes, your daughter, she's a genius. She was right. The van was full of a kidnapping kit, ropes, duct tape, sedatives. They were going to take her. Your daughter saved her own life." The story didn't end there. The nanny wasn't Agatha. That wasn't even her name. She was known to Interpol as the Ghost, wanted in 3 countries for coordinating the kidnappings of at least 6 executives' children. Her specialty was infiltration, and the impeccable references. They were real. They were from families who paid millions in ransom and were threatened with death, threatened with having their other children disappear if they ever said a word. The police had been after her for 5 years. Her method was to use sign language, which she learned in prison, thinking it was a 100% secure code. After all, in her world, who would ever understand it? She didn't count on an 8-year-old girl. I taught my daughter sign language so she could connect with her grandfather. In the end, she used that language to disconnect from a monster. The lesson I learned that night is simple, and it's not philosophical. The most unexpected tool you give your child, the most random hobby, might just be their greatest weapon. If this story made your heart race, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories where justice is finally served. I want to hear from you. What city and country are you watching this story from? And as a parent, I have to ask, what is the most intelligent or intuitive thing your child, or a child you know, has ever done that just blew you away? Do you believe in that instinct that kids have? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading as many as I can.